I let you guys introduce properly the tea was imagine 6 impossible things before breakfast.
Yeah,
Nice challenge.
it's totally along the lines, yeah, what we are doing here. What are 6 impossible but amazing things, yeah? Wonderful.
Wow.
Thank you, Anna, for reminding us. Actually, we have the whole
So we have
the whole list of the movies that we call the documentaries, which are the documentaries for the topic of spiritual journey. So I guess we might add Alice in the Wonderland in that documentary set, because they might be entertainment, but they contain right information. Cheers, David, with a mango. Is that a mango?
Coconut.
Or no, coconut, small coconut with a little another coconut on the side. And Zane, can you lift our new roommate for everybody to meet? This is our new member of the family.
She's just 2 months old and such a sweetness.
I think nobody can see her because Anna is not speaking, so she's not on the screen.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Ta-da!
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So beautiful. And this we don't know how it is. So great to see you all, and beautiful to have you here. And so what's going to be today's topic is authenticity, yeah? Marcel has a challenge to run it at noon. Well, yeah, that's fine. But whatever happens by then, it's going to be magical anyway. So authenticity, why authenticity? Well, first it comes through the astrology, and this is really coming as a big time topic for the whole humanity to start facing. And we, of course, have faced it in our personal expression because we are putting this online course together. And you know that our things that are our offerings are quite magical. So our natural expression would be, exactly how we talk here. It's unbridled, and it might be
hurting some ears.
Yeah, it could be like totally ununderstandable or even completely outright impossible for many people. So then we have our friends who are helping us with marketing, and they're trying to kind of make it into some sort of message that is, how they feel it's going to be hearable for people. So what we have been going through is we are trying to kind of express ourselves fully, but then come the questions with, will they understand it? Will this be, is this the right way to say it? Will they be scared of? Are they going to sign up or not? Are they going to misunderstand it? So we are actually finding that these questions are kind of making what used to be magical a little bit, they bother us.
Yeah, and they wouldn't have bothered before, but they're extremely bothering at this moment because of this planetary influence that actually calls for the utmost authenticity and integrity in what we do. In the best possible case, it would be, we are who we are, we speak how we speak, and if there's no one to hear it, that's okay, and who can hear it will hear it totally and with enthusiasm. And every one of us is challenged in our expression, in what we do, how we say, how we do, and the halfways don't feel good anymore. Adjusting or adapting, or when you have a beautiful creation or a beautiful song, and then comes the producer and says, okay, we'll cut this, we'll cut there, and it ends up being exactly same as everyone else is doing, and it doesn't feel magical anymore. So if inauthenticity or some sort of adjustment could pass in the past, let's say, okay, for the sake of being, not rejected and accepted, we will adjust ourselves and message and what we do. Well, now it's no longer possible. Now it feels awful.
So the question is, you know, okay, it's okay to adapt our message so that people can hear it. But the question is, where is that line? Till which point we are adapting our message, and from which point it's actually killing the magic. So what we would like to ask you guys is, for example, when you are expressing yourself and when you are sharing things with people, even in communication and speech outside, do you feel, and how do you feel this threshold when you are still yourself, or when you start compromising on something important, when you are starting to compromise on something essential? How is it for you guys?
Like we know we have here a panel of creative people. Some write songs, some make beautiful paintings, and this is always where the most questions arise when you're doing something creative and volatile. Like, how will the, you know, Anna's paintings be perceived, or Hannah's songs, or Anne with her unusual expression? So yeah, please share how it is for you to, when do you feel that adjusting is actually trimming off the essential?
Can I start?
Yes, sure, David.
Yeah, I just had an example yesterday, actually. I mean, I felt kind of sidelined, and I nearly felt alienated. I shared about the nature of the moon. I didn't really go too deep in terms of talking about what it is exactly, but I talked about its negative influence, because I always remember when I was a kid, you know, I always say like, full moon, there are like, you know, witches. Okay, that's legend, but the real thing is like dogs bark. There's more crime, more criminals. So yeah, it left me wonder, and I shared this yesterday in a group, in a workshop in Ubud, and it was kind of dismissed. Like, but yeah, and I felt kind of a disconnect with people around me. But afterwards, a good thing is that we still had activities, and the connection I managed to keep a connection with them, and it was like, okay, we forgive you, or we forget what you said, basically. I mean, yeah, they didn't really blame me for anything, but at the time it was kind of brutal, because I felt like I was, you know, sidelined, like what you say is wrong, the moon is feminine and is beautiful and something. So yeah, I would say, so how to put the cursor. Well, it's also not to be offended personally when you say something that is kind of shocking. It's like understanding that one, people have the kind of sense, I have a right not to be offended, or I have the right not necessarily to listen to an opinion that shocks me. And so it's hard to navigate the right not to be offended, and the right not to have an opposing view in your face is very hard. And somehow the rule is like to stay calm, and very, you know, not to, how to say, to get triggered, and also not to trigger people, and let them calm down if they actually get triggered. I guess we got to be authentic, maybe not full on, because there's a kind of limit to what people can take, that's for sure. Because we have different perceptions of reality, and yeah, just to be soft and understanding. We're not there to fight. So it's good what happened yesterday. At least I planted a seed. Whatever happens in the future, I was authentic, true to myself. So I'm happy I shared that.
Good.
Thank you, David. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. And if you can reassure you, I stand by your side about the moon. We have so much information about the moon and its true nature that, yes, it's very dangerous to speak about it, because the common knowledge hasn't gone that way too yet. But
and that actually raises an interesting point. You know, we all know that now people are so passionate about all these different perspectives. How have we been programmed to think even about so-called diseases, so-called political movements, so-called this and that. So it's really, now's the time to actually feel how it feels if you go against the current. So this is exactly why we are raising this issue. So thank you, David, for pointing that out.
Yeah, and we'll come back to the
We
point
will.
of how can we authentify also the information that comes our way.
I think Anna wanted to go next. Anna from Belgrade. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, very interesting topic again. And I also felt that I love it when you put those volatile things to words, you know, because I get it through feelings when somebody's happening, and it's really great to have it in exact words, you know, what's going on. So for me, I just had that urge to change completely the way that I do my art, and to do it completely the other way, which is completely my authenticity, and to also say on that website what it really is, you know, and why those pictures are made. And I felt, and I know that most of the people will not understand what's written, but I also feel and see that the people have that reaction on them. They love it, but they don't know how or why and what is this, and you know. So I'm waiting because it's so brand new. I'm waiting for the reactions. I see on that website that they have much more visitors than before, you know. But everybody's still keeping quiet, not saying whether they like, why, or asking questions. But yes, I can feel that there are many questions, you know. But it is for me something really new, not to try at all, not to try to achieve anything with it, just to do it in some new way. And I know it's the gift, those paintings, and I know they're healing, you know, in anybody's room and space. But how will it happen? Who will understand that or not? If somebody will tell me, but what is this? This is not, you know, the way paintings are done and the way I used to. I'm waiting to see, you know, what happens. But
So
I love that way, in a new way of creating, in which I'm not trying to do things as I should, or I'm not trying hard at all. I'm just playing and experimenting with that new energy that I feel that is around, and I feel great doing them, and I'm so satisfied with them, you know.
So you're being authentic right now in your expression, true art. This is what you're saying. So which means is that before you were less authentic. Is that what now? What we are hearing is that you are now kind of opening up to the next level of being authentic that you didn't dare to do before, or something like that, right?
Yeah. I think so too. I was like always trying to do something which would be more or less compromised with the customers, you know? And that was also the compromise with myself and my art, and never free enough to do real authentic art.
Okay, yeah. Beautiful.
You know?
Well,
and of course it didn't work really well, because also the clients don't compromises. They also prefer authenticity.
Exactly.
You know.
Well, this is exactly. This is
even
exactly what we are feeling at some point.
Yeah, even if they don't like it at all, but feel, wow, this is authentic, they have a better feeling about it than with some, you know, compromise or half done. And there is also a chance that they can really love it. Yeah, that's my feeling about it.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing. And share the link to your paintings, because if you want a feedback, I really love them and I check them and it works.
Really?
I didn't have a chance to tell you, but like really, you're on a good way, and keep doing it.
Oh,
It's fantastic.
thanks. It's so good
Share
to
the
hear
link
it.
on our Facebook group so that we can all see it, you know, like now we have the links for Hannah's music, and whoever has some of their authentic expression, there would be great place to share. This is interesting. So far we have Anna's authentic expression that is accepted by people, and then we had David who had expressed his authentic expression, but that was triggering to people and they have rejected him. So let's see how we proceed.
Lisa raised hand. So Lisa
Lisa
you have
and
something
Beatrice.
to say about
Mhm.
authenticity.
Mhm.
So that was nice listening to Anna and what she said, and I have been going through the same thing lately, and thanks to Victor, who introduced me to the internet platform minds.com, and I've been posting my own photos superimposed with my own words, and it's incredible people's response, because I just don't care. I'm just putting whatever up there, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Just coming from a not caring space and just putting up stuff because I think my photos are beautiful, and I think my words are beautiful, and I think when they're married together, it's awesome. So that's fantastic. And on the flip side, as with Andrew, was it, that spoke today, there's the two little lambs that are staying here. The farmers came down today to dock their tails, and I'm very good at herding the animals. They're very calm and all of this kind of thing, and I thought, oh, you know, awesome, I'm going to look good to the farmers by getting the little lambs in the pen so that they can get their tails, little rubber bands put on their tails. And so they got the lambs into the pen, and then I thought, I can't hang around for this, I don't want to be here for this. And I walked away, and I realized that I had just participated in doing something that I should not have been doing. I was completely inauthentic because I was coming from a place of wanting to be liked. I wanted these farmers to respect me. I wanted them to like me for herding the sheep in. But so I had words with the farmers afterwards about why we shouldn't be docking lambs' tails off, because these little lambs, they were in excruciating pain. They went onto their front elbows and they couldn't even stand up. And I've never seen lambs get docked before. It was so cruel. It was disgusting. So, you know, going from a week of feeling fantastic. So I've been sitting inside crying pretty much all afternoon and apologizing to these poor frickin' lambs, because I have actually participated in a crime against them. It's committing a crime against another being. So so stepping outside of my authenticity because I wanted to be liked.
So this is a great point. And actually, Lisa, we were hoping that you would come, because when we talk about authenticity, you are among, you know, people
You come to our
who are on the top they're kind of limitingly expressing their true authenticity. So imagine that in many occasions it must not be very easy to have chosen that path. Yeah. So yeah, we were really looking forward to your sharing how it is to kind of live with that level of expressing who you are. So yeah, so even you sometimes find yourself in actually acting from the place of wanting to be liked. And I guess this is what we have been programmed to do during the school education and all that. So it's one of those things, how we are directed to be functional parts of society, or how George Carlin would say, to be obedient workers, rather to being, you know, like the free expression of who we are. So interesting that it comes up still in your life as well. I think Beatrice wanted to share, right, Beatrice?
Yes. Can you repeat the original question? Because I was listening to everybody and then I kind of lost.
The question
lost a little.
Here, where is the threshold that you are feeling, the threshold when you start compromising something important about yourself in order to be able to either communicate something or in order to actually be able to connect with the person? What is your experience about where is that threshold? Where, and do you cross that threshold or you don't?
Okay. Well, for me, I look at what is me and what is not me, because me inside is the part that is connected to love, creator, whatever you want to call it, that my spirit. And then around that, there's all the other stuff that I've picked up throughout time and in this life, you know, the limiting beliefs and all the blocks and all the emotions and all of that. So that is not who I am, yet it's part of me. So it's always that balance to separate the two and to not have my expression be dictated by patterns and limiting beliefs and all that stuff, which sometimes it's so much on autopilot that you don't always know. But, you know, to sift through it and sort through it is, you know, something that I dedicate time to. And then in the moment, sometimes I might still like do something and be liked, because I can't really help it yet, because I'm not there yet. And that to me also is authenticity, to accept that about myself and to know about my shit and look at it and, you know, embrace all of me as being authentic. So, you know, even sometimes when I'm triggered or, you know, standing in front of somebody and I can't get to express my true inner spirit self that is connected because I have all this weight still weighing me down, then that is my authentic expression in the moment. Because, you know, nobody is without weight. So yeah, but overall, I think it's just to be connected with my heart and separate that from my brain, which is where all the limiting beliefs and all the blocks and all that stuff lies. I think that is not who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of keep the balance of both.
Yeah, thank you, Beatrice. Exactly.
Yeah,
This is a beautiful illustration. I was hoping to have like also like the real life example where you are actually kind of experiencing in how it worked or didn't. But this is beautiful explanation, very visually, where that true connection is. So thank you so much for sharing. Marcel wanted and then to share, and then Miriam after that. Marcel.
Oh, my line is quite bad. Maybe I need to switch out the camera. Let me know if it's not.
We hear you.
Okay. I mean, for me, authentic. It's funny. I even wrote it authenticity.
Authenticity.
Authenticity. And for me, it's like balancing the inner and outer world. As I focus today more on my inner world, authenticity is right in the middle. It's like between those two worlds. And I mean, whatever triggers to be maybe not authentic, as we heard before, being liked, or if your trauma is the unseen child or whatever, you always try to pretend somebody. And I also did the same, and I'm still doing. And I remember something a friend of mine told. You need to be as pure as you are when you shower. When you are in the shower, you are very authentic. Because once we enter a room, we change colors by default. And also another thing is like giving a shit in a positive way. If I know it doesn't affect my system, it doesn't care what people believe or think, and it's not meant to be rude or not caring or sharing compassion. And this sometimes is misunderstood. If in this all Corona madness, I don't really care about if 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 people suffer, if I also suffer, or if I celebrate, it doesn't change their experience. So people always misunderstood if I'm not authentic, for example, in not celebrating life. And I really celebrated the whole time through Corona, and I'm still doing it. And a lot of people have difficulties to accept this, that people are still happy in those moments.
Exactly. Exactly. This is a beautiful point that you are bringing, Marcel, because being absolutely always happy and thrilled with the fact that we live and exist is really attaching to the inherent magic of existence that goes way beyond this species, way beyond this country, way beyond even this planet. It goes really connected to the universe and the miracle of existence, no matter what the current political agenda is. So it actually really shows to which depth a person or a group to which we are talking is connected, to what level of fake reality, you know, like a idea made reality, they are connected versus that deep connection to the miracle of existence. And that connection to the miracle of existence, this is what we are trying to touch, where it is and how to connect to that in order to bypass, you know, like the artificial scenarios that have been bombarded on us, because they are really ridiculous, all of them, compared to that piece of deep truth, true connection to the miracle of everything. I think we had Miriam who wanted to share. Let's hear Miriam and then we will go on.
You asked about the threshold, right?
Yes, where is the threshold?
For me, the threshold is at the moment that I feel a drop in my energy.
Exactly, yes.
That is where the threshold is. It is the moment, because I'm aware, I'm almost, let me say, I'm pretty aware of the things around me all the time. So the moment I'm aware that that energy drops, it is a moment for me to choose, what am I going to do now? Even if it's not the super authentic after that, still a step higher to come back to my authenticity. And what I felt when you were talking is that when I'm surrounded with people who I categorize as authentic, it is way easier to express so much more of who I am, which is authentic. Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Miriam. Actually,
Yes.
it's so funny. This is what we are finding also. So how far are we going to go with these marketers? Well, you know what? Till we see that the magic is started to disappear. And then we'll say, okay, from this point on, we need
join us and let's figure out some way that doesn't include, you know, customized system-based approach. So either they come and explore something new with us, or we just, you know, do our ways how we can.
But exactly that, what Miriam said is, you know, we said, wow, but we're so excited about this sharing about the course, and all of a sudden all these questions, well, how to say it, where to post it, where is the buy button, you know, who you accept payments with.
Yeah,
give me a break.
Phones,
it's like
black phones.
And it's like just killing the magic of actually making it. So what we're going to do is, you know, we will bring those, but these are dear friends, you know, who are actually marketing specialists. And we see that all of them need something that's called magical marketing. So I think we will, together with them, create something, and we're going to ditch the word marketing as well. So we call it magical heart-based communication, because what we are doing, we're sharing what we are going to be sharing. It's not even marketing. We're not making it into any kind of market. So like Miriam says, okay, when the energy started going down, well, let's make something new and create something that's even more magical that existed before.
because actually what we're all consciously and unconsciously and super consciously looking for is authenticity in the outer world in every possible form. We're looking for pure food, authentic music. We're looking for authentic movies because we know we have a radar that's inbuilt and that knows how to tell what's true, what's not. Why do we hate like the Chinese counterfeit objects, or we don't value something that looks like gold but is not? Because we're intensely looking for this authenticity in every aspect of our lives. We're looking to communicate with authentic people. We're expecting everyone to be authentic, and we know when they are not, and it almost hurts to feel how people are inauthentic, and we don't feel like we can exchange at that. And regardless of the level of consciousness that people have, they're all still looking for something more authentic than even themselves. And why is that? Is because what we're all looking for real is our own capacity of being ourselves. The first part of our lives, we are being told who to be. When we're a child, we don't care who we are. We're just happy, we're there. And then little by little, we're told who we should be, and we conform to that. And then we're told, okay, just be yourself now. And then we don't know anymore, like who's self, where was it before, like was it there, was it not? So in this moment when we're told, but just be yourself, and then the big eyes, and
I think I am.
Which self? Which of the 55 selves should I be at this moment? And as Beatrice mentioned, there's this one core self, and then there are those many masked selves. Yeah, there are masks of self that are created for a specific reason,
like interfaces with different people and different institutions.
The working self, the friend self, the lover self, all of those.
The good citizen self, like
the compassionate friend self,
the politically correct self. One.
So you see, when the question comes, just be yourself and create from your true heart. Well, how many people can just sit down and do that like this? There's always the question, from which heart? Because also we think that it's the heart, but is the broken heart? Is it the wounded heart? Is it the shrinking, or maybe there's no heart? It's so easy to say, and we know somehow intuitively that it must be there. Our fulfillment is in that inner authenticity. So we're looking for outside authenticity in order to try to find. And as you shared, Hannah, about Alice, who was stretched and shrinked and then decided just to be herself, it's okay if we don't know. If that door has been so lost in the jungle to ourselves that we don't know anymore where it is, it's okay. But at any given moment, we can choose to find that authenticity the way it is right now. And
so
and there's a way how to find it.
There are a few shortcuts how to find it.
Well, just a little word why that authenticity is coming up and is really unavoidable and unescapable is because we have brought the world to such a standardized model. Everything is standard. Even the movies are not movies anymore. You look at the movies from up till 95, maximum the year 2000, they still have differences between them. After that, the script, it's almost like a computer generated script.
The formula has been established.
Yeah, everything matches that formula. So we feel that it's not true. We feel that that something is missing, some live ingredient is missing. And that goes for everything, for products, for music, for everything that fits some standards. And now desperately we need to come back to something something unique, something different.
So what is the standard that has been adopted by film industry is what sells. So what sells is Joseph Campbell's hero's journey. archetype, which has, okay, the first 15 minutes we build till there. Then the main character finds the obstacle. Then he leaves home. Then he has, so there is the whole, really, like there is a blueprint script for Hollywood movies that have minute by minute when what happens. Why? Because this sells well. So they have established it in the, I think, 80s, something around 80s with Star Wars and after Star Wars with Jaws. I think Jaws was the first movie that was following that script. So this is really, the marketing has been actually attacking our lives in every way. Marketing of doing something inauthentic that sells well. And that's why we are actually starting to only know things that sell well. And this is trying to be our, to be imposed as our reality. What sells well is our reality. And of course, the final aberration of that brutal, imposing type of marketing is what's happening now. The next level of it is brutalizing whole countries to kind of sell them something as compulsory because there is some sort of disease that has been kind of made as a propaganda, and now we have to buy our way out of it. So it's like the peak of the marketing that was starting as something inauthentic that is really now attacking us as a huge beast because we have given it so much energy. So that's partially why now's the time to go back to authenticity. And from that place of authenticity, when we find it, then we look out and see what is true and what looks like complete BS. And that looks like complete BS, we can laugh at it and say, okay, well, I see true. I understand why people still need it, but I don't have to be part of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And to what extent we can actually say it and communicate it depends on how easy we handle criticism and disapproval, and as David mentioned, you know, the whole group turning away. But there's no more reason actually to speak in those halfways, because it's clearly things are shifting so fast that now, you know, you might as well just say what you think, and there will be people who will hear you. So the whole point of where the authenticity was lost, because it's dangerous. You know, you might just as well find yourself completely alone and excluded if you are just saying how you feel. But at the same time, there are people around the world, and now we have the privilege of being all connected. So it's no more the little village in which being different means the end of the story right there. Now we're connected, and there's always someone who thinks just like you. And there's more than one, and there may be 10, there might be 100, and we just need to get them all around the same, you know, topics to where we can say what we think, and it's valued and it's valuable for others. Yeah. So, you know, being maybe at the forefront of saying authentic things and the truth about the moon, you know, it might be helpful for those who think that it's the peak of feminine energy. Well, when I heard the truth about the moon, I was first like, oh, this is very, very far-fetched. And then I said, yeah, but how do I know that the whole thing about moon and femininity is true? And then I started questioning. So the lesson is also to, like, how do you accept the information and make it authentic for you? How do you question the source? Where did the information about, you know, the traditional idea about the moon even come from?
But ultimately,
did we question it? Who said? Well, traditions, people, but everybody sort of agreed on something, and then you are defending the truth as much as the slaves built the pyramids, you know. So one day when the facts will come to light, and we will all say, oh my God, I've been so tricked. So bringing this questioning the information and looking for the sources of information. How do we know what we know?
Let me just add that looking for sources of information is one thing, but how Evia actually found out about the moon is because she tried it on herself. So finally, wherever the information came, we have actually said, oh, but what if the moon thing is BS? Let's see if we can detach ourselves from the energy of the moon and see how we function there. So ultimately, how she actually found out that this is not working is because she detached her femininity from the influence of the moon, and she had immediate physical effects in her life. She can tell a little bit about that, but my point is, no matter from where information comes, ultimately we have to test it on ourselves, because as long as it's information, it's stuff of the mind. But stuff of the mind can completely hypnotize us into delusion. But what's real is what's real for our body, because our body is plugged,
experience.
our own experience is plugged into the moment of now, and it doesn't lie. So you put it back to your body and you say, well, no matter where information came from, let me try it on myself. So you can share how the moon thing actually, how your detachment from the moon influences yourself, just as an example of need to test it on you, test it on yourself. Do you have COVID? Have you experienced this? Do you have this? If you don't have it, is it healthy to wear mask and to breathe your own CO2? Like, test these things on yourself. Can the germ come out of the pattern of the knitting? Is it smaller than the knitting pattern? Does it make sense on yourself? Like testing everything on yourself will ultimately check if it's true. But share about the moon.
Well, the moon thing we'll share probably a little in a different setting, but well, that personal experience of detaching from the moon energy actually brought me to understanding that we haven't questioned enough things. We have taken many things just because they were there or because they were agreed upon, but it was not our experience. When somebody tells you something, it's one thing. But when you feel, when you experience it, that becomes your experience. That becomes true and part of yourself, and that you can speak about. So it's very interesting to question even these like basic concepts that we don't doubt at all, and make them your experience and feel it. How does it feel about everything, and including the mask. So there's a little game going on when we go shopping. It's an awful experience because there are shops that force you to put the mask, otherwise you're not allowed in the shop and everything. But we're experimenting with Zane the other day. So I just go inside the shop and I'm with a straight face, and I don't want to wear the stupid mask, and that's it. That's my truth. And if they ask me to go out from the shop, I'll go out. That's not a problem. I'm holding on to my right of not putting it. And when you go in with a straight face and that's your truth, that you don't want to wear the thing, they somehow understand and accept it, and nobody has come and thrown me out of the shop because I don't have the mask. So, and more we stand, for example, without masks, more other people will question that too and say, hey, why should I comply? So that's where standing for your truth can actually encourage and inspire other people to do the same. So don't underestimate how you being true to yourself has an impact on everyone else. And to
direct experience, yes.
Yeah, and to finish with a theory about what that authenticity is so important for, is that the life flows through you in some very particular ways, extravagant ways, completely amazing ways. And if we're putting too much obstacles on that, well, it might trickle or it might stop altogether. So, just allowing it to be and witnessing yourself in what you become when you allow the life just to flow through you uninterrupted is such a gift. You're discovering yourself every time. Wow, this can come through me. Like for Anna paintings, wow, this can come through me. For Anna, her voices, her surreal voices come through her, and she's like, wow, like this is coming through me. Then you don't identify, oh, I paint or I sing or I heal or I dance. You think, oh, like this energy is coming through me. Look at this. And because it's not quite yours, you didn't invent it. So you don't attach too much information, like importance to that. Like Lisa putting her things on internet, because she likes it, because it comes like that, the most easy possible. And believe it or not, when we radiate that one true frequency, there's a whole fractal line of people who will click into it immediately. So if you're being true to yourself, and you can see authentic people, they have those who like them, they like them without questions, entirely spontaneously, and from 1 minute. They don't need to be convinced. And those who don't get it, they just not even, don't come close.
And that's totally, I guess, the secret of love communication versus marketing.
Yeah.
Because love communication seeks to inform people on the same level of frequency that will automatically then connect. Whereas marketing seeks to force something onto people who didn't originally think they wanted, or they don't want it at all.
And the whole liking and disliking happens when you're trying to convince people for whom it's not meant to be pleasant. You're trying to convince most of people to like something that they are not ready to accept. But actually, when you just put it out there, you allow those who love it to love it totally, and it works. So that's where authenticity, this is how it can bring you money and success and all that you have wanted for, because you'll just have only the right people magnetized to who you are, to your specific energy, and they'll be super inspired to help you, bring you forward and help you in every possible way.
And this we experienced as well. It is really, with some people, we so much understand that we have just few words to say, and like we're co-creating already. With other people, there is, you feel after explaining something, you feel like you have been lifting weights. It's like, oh my God, okay, conversation is finished. So it's really, getting to that frequency match.
And you're not trying to convince, you're not dogmatic, so you're just expressing who you are, and it brings this pure response from the other people as well. So I would say there's nothing much to lose. At the end, being yourself, there's nothing much to lose. There's everything to discover, and just coming in terms with this anxiety of what might happen is probably where it shifts around.
So and authenticity, yeah. So
and there's a way.
There is a way,
there's
and
a
actually
way that you all know about.
Yeah, that, well, for one, us humans are the only one who can even be inauthentic, because we have just gotten this cute little cat that you saw, like a black cat, who is completely authentic. She doesn't know how to not be authentic. She's like, what she feels, she does. She feels like sniffing that the teapot. She does it. She jumps in the lamp. She just, and then all of a sudden she goes and sleeps. Like what she starts doing, she's completely authentically doing things. So no one else other than humans. Plants are very authentically growing and very authentically going towards where the sun is. All the animals, all the plants, all the living beings are completely authentic, and they can be our teachers, for one. For humans, we have part of us that is authentic, that cannot be inauthentic. And what is it? It's our body. So whenever you are in doubt, is this authentic or not, you can go back to your body and ask your body, is this true or not?
Like our beautiful Sadhguru's example that we saw the other day. He says, okay, so you have these philosophical questions, to be or not to be. Okay, ask your body for the truth. Close your nose
and mouth
for a minute and ask, to be or not to be.
To be, of course. Like what question is that? So it's pretty much, your body is very nice BS detector of your mind, for your mind. And who can BS you is pretty much your mind, that constantly lives either in the past or in the future. But the life happens right this moment. So now you're sitting, now we are sharing, and now this is completely true. And there's nothing inauthentic of the moment of now, and there's nothing different that can exist in the moment of now instead of just what's happening right now. And if you doubt that, you can raise your doubt, and we can actually examine the fact that in the moment of now, there's nothing else that can happen but what's happening now. In future, yes, something can happen differently based on what we do now. In past, can we change the past? Also, no. It's like completely delusional to dwell in the past and think that something is going to change by dwelling in the past. So the real truth happens now and connected with our body. So these are the two detectors of what's real.
As well as inspiration and pain. So pain can only happen in the moment of now, and it's authentic. And inspiration, you can't have inspiration in the past or in the future. So actually the life and that energy that we're looking for in every possible ways, we're looking a little bit in a weird ways in wrong places, but it is available at every given moment, right here and right now. And you all know how. It's just, we will put it a little bit in a context that if the only place that you exist and the life force and fresh energy and inspiration is present is now, and the only force that is dragging you out of the now, as opposed to plants and cats and other animals, is a mind. So what is something that combines the moment of now and absence of mind? I'll let you guess. What do you do to get out of your mind? So it's the meditation.
So for me to go out of my mind, I go to the bathroom. Just quickly.
So you all practice some sort of mindfulness or meditation, yeah? And what the meditation was designed for is to allow yourself to feel yourself, at least for that little moment when you get the mind out of the way, and to experience that peacefulness and boundlessness, and the extent to which we can experience things while mind is switched off is according to how strong your mind is there in the first place. Because you can also invent a style of meditation that involves mind, and you'll be thinking of how you should not think. So that will not get you far, because you will still use the mind to think that you shouldn't think, or to think about that one thing that you're supposed to think, to not think about other things. So there are different tricks where mind infiltrates also in meditations. And the only criteria, again, if the meditation worked or not, is your body. How do you feel after? How is the result in your life? Are you being more productive, more peaceful, more harmonious, more aligned, more settled after your meditation practices? Or do you take that moment of the day for meditation, and in it you feel pretty peaceful, but it doesn't change much how your day goes on and how your life goes on? So there again, your body will tell, your life will tell, if your meditation practice is actually allowing you touching your authentic self and freedom, or if it's a mind trick keeping you in the loop, even in the time of meditation.
But just to make sure that it's clearly understood, we are not trying to abolish the mind. Mind is our amazing tool, and it doesn't mean we are going to switch it off. What we want to do is that it, along with everything else in our life, as our body works for us.
It serves life. So mind needs to serve life. Mind shouldn't be obstacle to life. It should serve life. It should make you go towards life and your expression and anything that can contribute to that.
So mind serving life is mind that is not compulsive. So it's either compulsive or it is in line with your higher expression, authentic expression. So it can be either or. So what we want through meditation is to observe it when it's trying to get out of the line, and then to just not allow it to take us into the delusion. So pretty much with meditation, there are 3 stages, and that's very, very important. It's very interesting. There is three steps are this. First step is learning meditation. Learning meditation means somebody needs to show you how to do it, but not just anyone. And that's really important. Not just anyone. Somebody needs to show you.
Somebody who is authentic.
Well, who is authentic and who knows what they're talking about. And why is this important is that you can learn it in the wrong way. And like our friend, Michael Ellerwine, this is a famous astrologer who has later in life learned meditation. He says, I've meditated for 30 years. And after 30 years, I understood that I'm doing it all the time wrong. So you can really do it wrong and have no consequences. All that work is like he had imagined how it should be. So, in the 70s, this was very fashionable trend. Everybody needs to meditate. And, they just didn't have the right person to teach them. So the guy meditated for 30 years, and then after 30 years, he met the right teacher, and he started meditating after that. So you can imagine what influence could have had on his life if he had meditated right all this time also before. So you can be taught wrong and not know how to meditate. So first part is learning how to meditate. Second, most boring part is practicing it. And practicing it is actually when you sit, and what we think that we must sit and practice it while sitting. There are so many other ways to meditate. To practice meditation, it can be walking meditation, it can be sport meditation, it can be meditation through music, so many other things. But that practicing part is super important because then we are embodying it and it becomes our own. And the third part is meditation itself. And meditation itself happens with everything that you do. From that point on, you don't have to practice anymore. Everything you do becomes meditation, and then it's amazing, easy, and so fulfilling that through your music, through your photography, through your walks, consequence of the way how you do these things is actually meditation. So you don't meditate, like you assign time to meditate. Through everything you do, it is meditation itself. So for that state to happen, we have to actually have the right instruction, and then the period of practicing where you just get your fingers, like when you're learning guitar, you have to make those fingers move quickly to go between chords because they haven't done it before. So we have to go through the relatively short or a little longer period of practicing before you can get to that everything you do is meditation itself.
Mm-hmm. And another point is that when you learn meditation, or if you have already one and you want to change, learn it from someone who teaches you, but who you resonate with as a person. Because for someone who prefers like a sitting meditation and you're an active person, it might just not match. It's not like you would be bad in that meditation, but it's just not how your system is built. I was for a long time trying, for example, transcendental meditation and all other sorts, just to understand that for me it happens while I'm pulling weeds, standing in line, waiting for something, painting walls. I had the business, 2 children, and everything going on at the same time, so I couldn't stop life from happening to meditate. Yeah, like that was not possible technically. So I said, okay, if I cannot stop the world for 10 or 20 minutes, well, how can I bring it in the world? How can I use whatever I have, the little naps of the baby, or standing in line, or talking to boring people? I was meditating while talking to the workers and gardeners and stuff like that. They are going on, and I'm just like blissfully listening to them.
What a great listener you are. Now I understand why you listen to me so beautiful.
So any moment, any like even watching a movie on TV where there were ads in the middle, Or that add time, it's either you go and pee or you make a sandwich. I was using that time to just black out and feel in and renew myself from within. So the common thing that we say, oh, I don't have time, or it has to be at 4 a.m. I can tell you that I have tried the 4 a.m. It didn't work. I was forcing myself. It still didn't work. Did sleeping meditation at 4 a.m. Like, and it served nothing and no one. And yeah, it can be till I understood, but like, who said that? Okay, yogis who go to bed at 9, for example. Yeah, they can, sure. But so we have to adapt information to what's true to us and understand you're not a bad person or bad meditator because you don't do it at 4 a.m. because there's someone who does. But for me, it's just so impossible that I had to be in peace with the fact that I will do it while standing in lines and not in a holy position or in some white dress or in any specific appearance. So when you learn the meditation, and all you need to get is basically the feeling where you touch your true essence, when you feel that boundless, like ding, and you are suddenly one with everything. You feel life, you feel everything that's there. It's so alive, and you're like, ah, I'm so lucky to be alive at this particular moment. If you can make yourself to that point where you feel intensely alive and present in your body, in this world, happy to be who you are, with whom you are, and you're in peace with the world, well, however you got there, keep that method and don't judge it. If it happens after saying some specific sentence 33 times, fine. If it happens while sitting and saying nothing, fine. It doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you get there. So if there's someone who can take you to the place where you can experience a boundless, mindless moment of existence, that's the point of meditation. You don't have to achieve anything more than that, than feeling yourself thriving and absolutely alive.
Share how you felt yesterday in nature. We're here in the mountains, and it is just breathtaking. Alps and like huge rocks and the pristine river, and it's just it's humbling. So just share how it was yesterday.
Yeah, that those 10-20 minutes that we could dedicate per day to feel alive, yeah? So we went to the mountains, just took the car, drove up 10-15 minutes, where it's still amazed that, these things are just next to the house. And it's not that the nature was beautiful, although it was, but it's not the nature that did the connection. Everything is pure and beautiful, and even little sun was peeking through the clouds. So it's not about the outer world that would create the condition to feel perfect, but it's a decision. Why not here? Why not now? Why not to allow this beauty of existence and amazement that in the whole solar system, in the whole galaxies and universes, everything is ticking around the clock and everything is perfect, and the oxygen in the air is the right dose to the micro milligram, and your body's chemistry is running without that you have to kind of open and close the valves every minute. So if everything is so perfect in the universe as it is, like, why not to choose to go along with that global perfection of the whole universe? And once the decision is made, then everything just clicks into the place where you feel this expansion and acutely feeling alive. So whatever can bring you there to acutely feel alive and being, keep that method, go there anytime, anywhere, and don't lock yourself in structures that don't work. Voila, that's it.
So we wanted to ask, what is some of the ways that people are going into that state, or should we just
so yeah,
maybe
if you
share
have
a meditation?
This was my personal way how I do it, because for many years, you know, more than 20 years, I've been trying everything there is, and really I'm very curious and skeptical at the same time. So I've been trying a lot of things in all sorts of ways, and I've seen things that work for people and don't work for me, things that work for no one, things that work for someone at some point and not later. So how I got to feel that experience for myself is my own personal journey. So you might have your journeys, how you succeed or don't, or you're questioning, but this is a very recurrent question from people. I know there's a million of things about meditation, but how do I start? So if you have some nice things to share, or how it works for you.
Actually, the question is this: have you found a meditation that you practice that actually takes you to that place of oneness, or you're still looking? And if you're still looking, we will have some points to direct you to. And if you have found it, share it with us so that we can all add that to what's possible. So have you found yourselves that place that connects you back to your oneness? That's a question. So yes,
smiling.
And Lisa said yes. So Lisa, what is it?
For me, it's just engaging through breath. And like you say, with being in the state where it was when my animal communication mentor explained that she has a very busy mind, and it's allowing that busy mind to just have a space in there, but not to be distracted by it, just to acknowledge it. It's like, oh, wow. And for all this time, I'd been trying to turn that bastard off. So with accepting that there's this mind that is just going tick, 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 what I started doing was following her method just with breath. And I find that when I am just fully engaged with, and it doesn't matter, it's not about a holotrophic breathing, or it's not about the technique of the breath. It is engaging fully with breath. But the most incredible experiences occur with me. I don't know if I was speaking to you guys about up in Australia. I would just walk around breathing and then go and sit outside and blah, blah, blah. And I had the privilege of having two goannas, native goannas, wild goannas, that came up to my body and checked me out. And that's when I know that I am in an complete state of oneness, when nature completely ignores the fact that you're a human being sitting in their nature. To have these lizards licking their tongues on me, it's just, and even then, it's just breathing, breath, 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 breath. So it's so friggin' easy.
Wow,
yeah,
wonderful.
Well, Lisa, you thank you for saying that, because this is one important point that I almost missed. So the whole meditation can be said in two simple words. Everything is only about engaging fully with what you do. When you're engaging fully with the moment, you're fully into the dancing, you're fully into the breathing, you're fully into staring at the mountain, you're fully into sitting in the void, in the inner void. Whatever you engage in fully, well, that's the ultimate state of meditation, no matter how it gets there.
And absolutely, this is the proof that you're there, is that the nature actually interacts with you. All of a sudden, you are one with it. It's obvious. There are no questions, and no more questions. And actually, the danger of some of those types of meditations is that their goal is chasing experiences, experience chasing. This is, stuff that we get on, different types of chemicals, stuff that we get through holotrophic breath sometimes. So sometimes it's necessary, but actually a goal is to be one. And I love it. Thank you, Lisa, for sharing.
Anna.
Yeah.
So what I find very helpful is the intention. So it can be a prayer or just like a conscious choice. before I sit, before I go to yoga, before I do anything. As you said, it can be anything, but it's a conscious moment where I really set the intention and I don't care how it's going to happen. And then it's also the perspective from which I'm looking at meditation. Am I speaking from identifying with the thoughts? Am I the person doing that and wanting to reach another place? Or am I looking like from above and remembering I'm everything that's already is, and I can let the experience come through me? So that's kind of a nice imagery that I use, that I kind of step out of the way and I allow it to happen. So actually I can't do it wrong because I'm not doing anything. Mm. And then you're also not attached if it kind of stays or doesn't stay, because it doesn't really matter. And it's kind of shift in perspective helps me a lot to kind of, yeah, accept it. And it can even be like the most common advice when teaching, I think, is always kind of be happy when you catch yourself that you're observing a line of thought. And that's also the same thing. When you think you've lost it, well, that's actually the best part of the meditation. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. So you can't do it wrong. That's the baseline.
Beautiful. No judgment, yeah?
Yeah.
No judgment and remembrance. Yeah, remembering from which side am I looking at, like, what do I consider myself? Mm-hmm. Do I consider myself a person or much more? So it's like I'm not the person trying to merge with the whole world, but I am more than that. So it's actually relaxing into my natural state.
Beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. So this is accepting the moment with no judgment, just as it is, because the moment is all that there is and all that we have. Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. Super.
Anne wanted to say, and then Sylvia as well. Mm-hmm. Anne first, then Sylvia.
Oh, thank you. For me, because my mind is very active, so I have to kind of, through breath, just take a few deep breaths and maybe sigh really loud out, say something or tone. It already brings me to the kind of more center. And then I say to myself, how do I feel in this moment before any thoughts or concepts? And my attention and focus goes straight inside to my body, and I start to feel how my body feels actually in this moment. Mm. It's like the life force energy. I can feel it and see it, and it just kind of goes within straight away when I say those words or I think about that. So that's what I use many times a day, for a few moments, and that's enough.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So you're using your BS detector, yeah?
Back to the body, yeah? Mm-hmm. Through the body you feel these things, yeah? Wonderful.
Exactly.
Thank you. Sylvia.
Thank you. For me, it's there are a few words that are actually triggering a feeling within me. Like one is love, the other is grace, the other is God. And when I just keep starting to repeat these words and kind of feeling, then I get there. And it can be just, sometimes it's just a couple of seconds, but it's just like my eyes are getting teary, or I just feel such a wave of like really deep connection, and then I'm out. Staying in. Thank you.
Wow, wonderful. So you have a keywords that connect to the feelings, and then they take you there. Wonderful. But actually, again, body, because body feels it, yeah? Body feels the state. Mm-hmm. It's like literally like a feeler of the state. Are we there or not, yeah?
Yes. You can't fake it, because you like every pores or every little particles are just there and kind of buzzing that way. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a vibration kind of thing.
Wonderful.
Exactly.
Thank you, sir.
So you see, the body is such a beautiful tool to test all your methods that your mind might think are cool. Well, then ask your body, how do you feel after that? How do you feel
During
during it, after that, and in the next, days and weeks to come? Is the body looking forward for the experience?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, for example, you said something like walking when you're just completely being. So it can be also dancing. I personally use, spontaneous. I plug my 3 songs in the earphones, just go out barefoot and dance, and this is the spontaneous connection to everything, because then the body does it much faster than me trying to quiet the mind. The body already knows, it likes, and it asks for it. Take me dancing, Ellie, let's go. I saying, oh, it's early, it's wet. Nobody said, yeah, go. You'll see, you'll feel good. So when you allow the body to drive you to what it wants to feel, and you control your mind, who will find million reasons of why not, then that's what you can really trust, that the body will take you to the activity in the right moment. It can be any time of the day, it can be any number of times per week, it can be just anything. When the body needs that refreshment and connection, it will tell you. So really, if there's one thing to learn, is how to listen to that wisdom.
And something important came up here. You will know that you found your modality is when you will be looking forward to doing it and not feeling it as a chore. And the part of practicing it could be a little bit of a chore, but each next time you feel like you're more and more looking forward to it, it's still that. But if it's complete chore and you are forcing yourself to do it, then you're doing it from your mind and it's not going to work. We are then looking for a better way to do it, because that state of oneness is super amazing, however we have gotten there. So that's like the ultimate check. Are you looking forward to it? Who else has found their own way or have not found their own way and are looking? Eleonora is still looking, and we will send you some ideas of what it could be for you, where you could look. Some of these ideas that are coming up now might also be helpful for you. Anyone else have found their way to connect or still looking? Anna, and Anna, then Miriam.
Well, I have a few ways that happen spontaneously when I switch to senses, instead of thoughts. For example, I have a huge, beautiful tree of Lipa, Victor.
Linden tree.
It really smells so perfectly when it's blossoming, and it's in front of me, and then I go on a balcony, do something else, but then I get overwhelmed, with that beautiful.
We don't hear you all of a sudden. You're so overwhelmed by the smell that we don't hear the voice. But yeah, getting into the feeling. Let me turn on your mic. I think we're
lost.
We lost Anna. But
well, we'll let Anna come back.
No, we don't hear you. Something happened.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Sorry, I had something with my phone. So I have those moments of really being overwhelmed with the moment when senses are feeling so great. Then I drop everything else and I say nothing else is important in this moment but this smell, because it is so perfect and beautiful, and it can also come with looking, for example, beautiful sky, beautiful rainbow, beautiful water, something animal, like duck flying, or just catches me when I then find myself in that completely other state of being and really enjoying life in those moments, you know, nothing else matter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little bit how it is for me.
Mm-hmm.
So also engaging fully with what is so interesting.
Yeah.
This is
And when
very
you engage fully in something that is alive, you engage fully in the gazing in the water, or you engage fully in smelling the rose or the linden tree. I love it too, by the way. You're so engaged in being connected to something alive that this is the link that brings you to your authenticity, which is actually very simple. We're very simple beings inside. We're not complicated at all. We don't have a particular form. All that we're looking for is to feel free, because we're formless and boundless, and the body is our boundary to kind of, you know, carry around. But when we're engaged fully, we feel that boundlessness of who we really are, and that authenticity that we're looking for is as close as it can be to our limitless nature. Yeah. So this is where you're looking when you feel oneness, boundless, limitless. This is your true limitless nature coming through. And that's all there is. And then when you allow that flow to come through your form, well, it comes out in many beautiful forms. And if you don't judge it, it will come out as paintings, songs, nice words, just speech, anything, just anything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, thank you.
Miriam wanting to share.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
Good to be back. Yeah, I feel discipline is one of my difficult things. So every day there's something else. But mostly comes back is early morning, and then even when the sky is gray, I walk out on the path and I'm all the time astonished by seeing Mount Agung or half, or so that's a kind of reconnecting with the child in me, or like, oh my God. And then often I start doing this thing like I'm the goddess and reunite, and so that are moments. Walking is a good thing for me, early morning walks, and I realize when I start singing, when I just not even words, when I sing, that really resonates everything. But I'm still in the situation that I think, yeah, but I have to sit down and meditate, and I still didn't find the right way and the right. But I'm the same as you, Evia. Then I just, I realize I fall half asleep, or yeah. So for me, it's really being outside and seeing things and connecting, and yeah. But this little voice in me, like, well, but you're not really there. Then this is not enough. So that is the nagging there.
Huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting to. It would be interesting to see if that voice actually is right, or if that voice is just making you doubt. So this we could look at and kind of see if you could go deeper, or maybe not. Maybe that's all it is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I can tell you, Miriam, because I know exactly what you're describing. That the voice is saying, yeah, we should be sitting and more serious about it, and then but the inner is like, ah. So the question is, allow yourself to surprise yourself. That's important. Catch you off guard. Catch yourself off guard. Do something unexpected. If you see a beautiful thing, just drop everything in the world and stay on that. Stare on that Mount Agung for 3 minutes. You don't need, it's a myth that we need like an hour of meditation to get something. 3 minutes of intense being alive is worth many hours of static sitting. You are not a monk, and that's why you're not born in Tibet.
Thank you. Yes. I already, every day, I make that conclusion, and I just go outside and see Mount Agung and be happy.
Exactly. When you see the beauty of the flower or beauty of anything alive, just stop yourself right then and there and allow yourself to drop whatever you were going to do then, or just for 3 minutes. It's not long and it's not short. It's just enough to feel unbearably alive.
Yeah.
In that moment.
Thank you. Yes. Oh.
Yes, Isabelle.
Evia, tu peux traduire?
Oui, oui.
Ok. Pour moi, c'est très différent, ça dépend des jours en fait. J'écoute mon corps en premier, il a besoin.
So for Isabel, it's different from day to day, and she's listening to her body. So she's, by the way, she's a huge meditation specialist. She's teaching meditations and all in her body and about her body. So, oui, Isabel.
Donc ça peut être, j'ai commencé en fait par les respirations au départ.
She started with breathings.
Et j'ai vu la profondeur où ça pouvait m'amener et avec cette connexion à l'immensité en fait.
And she tried till she felt that through the breathing she can reach the point of connection to immensity.
Et au début c'était compliqué pour moi de rester assise.
But at the beginning it was challenging to stay sitting and to stay present in that.
Et j'ai commencé à prendre, donc après la respiration, à faire des respirations, mais plutôt en marchant, et à tout ce qui est marche consciente, et à méditer en marchant en fait.
And then she started the conscious walking meditations, where the breath was attached to, walking long walks. Breathing and walking.
Oui. Et après, il y a plusieurs choses qui sont venues. J'ai pu m'asseoir avec les mantras, des récitant des mantras.
And then sitting meditations with mantras was the next.
En fait, c'était le son. C'était la profondeur du son et la présence complète dans le son.
The sound, the profoundness of the sound, and being one with the sound, a little bit like you said, guys. Being one with the sound that opens up the connection.
Et après, bien sûr, dans le mouvement, que ce soit dans la danse ou dans les méditations du cœur, où il y a le mouvement, mais je laisse venir ce qui vient.
And then the movement. So Isabel is actually teaching the healing meditations through movement. So it's a rhythmic movement with, a certain point to reach. And she's saying that she's using whichever feels good at any moment. Improvising.
Et par moment, parce que je sens que j'en ai besoin par rapport à, pour mettre le focus, je vais être dans la discipline aussi. C'est-à-dire que
like she needs more of a focus, then she will do something that requires a little more discipline when she needs a focused connection.
Voilà, et du coup, là, je vais même poser quelque chose parce que je sens que j'en ai besoin pour garder le focus.
And then it's a meditation with intention to keep the focus. Yeah.
Voilà, mais après, j'aime bien méditer tous les jours.
Oui, but yeah, so it's any kind of meditation, but every day. Merci, Isabelle.
Isabelle, wow, beautiful. So Isabelle has tried so many different methods that now they're coming from, like freely to her. So it's great when we get to that point.
And so this question of meditation has been such a big part of our lives, well, respectively, that we're actually looking, and it's an open invitation, an open call to all of you guys. We're looking for a way how to make the meditation wordless. Because I personally can't sit through the guided meditations. I'm too fast, I'm too forward, and then I bring myself back, and I'm always suffering with the rhythm of the thing. And it's a struggle with no end. So we had the idea, and we hoped that it will be ready for today, but we need a little more tweaking on
one more element. Yes.
Yeah. So we are about to create a meditation that uses, a light code, a code that Anne received to try, the code that aligns polarities, for example. and we filmed a little video, and there's a music that goes with it. So we will put it together. The music
with specific intention, specific targeted intention, so that you just look at it and receive it through music, code, and visuals.
So we're just wondering, you know, we would like to try, if it is possible, to combine these three elements: specific code, music, and, well, sound, I would say, rather than music, and the video, which is, you know, drops falling or something like this, and that it creates this entry, it opens the door to the meditation, so that it actually connects more easy.
Like a shortcut, yeah?
And, you know, in our visions, it's really like voices like you guys, who have beautiful voices and who tone and sing and everything, coming together with instruments and Tibetan balls and creating a soundscape that then matches a visual, a very calming visual. And maybe that can be the entry point for those who don't know where to, you know, where to start, where to put the foot in, to even calm down the...
So here's actually what's coming up. We will correct one thing with what we have created for today. It needs one correction. We will upload it to both of our places, Facebook group and Minds group. So you guys can download it and listen to it, or maybe even to YouTube, so you can directly listen and watch it. And then if you feel something that comes up through that, and especially I'm looking at you beautiful ones who are toning and singing, if you feel like recording something inspired by that and sending it over, then we will work with incorporating that together into this combined experience. So let's maybe do it like that. You listen to that, and whatever it inspires you, record yourself on the phone or however you feel like, on top of that, so that the rhythm is the same. And that's, Miriam, the answer to your question. Can we put it together with piano? We could, but it's not in that rhythm. But if you record yourself on top of something that I already put together, then it's easy for me to kind of incorporate it with what's already there and not kind of matching different rhythms. So it would be really cool. Well, that's an idea. See if you get inspired to, you know, tone on top of it and add an element or a layer.
So who knows? Who knows? That can be the meditation for those who have active minds or impatient natures and cannot sit through lengthy processes. Who knows?
But we are totally looking for that shortcut. Because when those meditations were created, the times were different. Yeah, times of Buddha, it was completely different environment, social, life structure, all that. Now we need something that is actually more appropriate for who and where we live now. So let's see what we can come up with all together.
So any last words or comments? Questions?
Well, I remember I once was in a 10-day meditation course in Bali, and then that was also difficult for me. And later someone told me that there's also the difference between the brains between men and women, and that for women it's more difficult to just sit in silence, and that like the sound, singing mantras or singing before you're sitting in quiet or walking meditation is for women easier than for men. And I was so happy to hear that. So, okay, I don't need to try to just sit in silence. Yeah, so that's also the difference between men and women, the brain. Yes. So probably for you, Victor, it's easier.
Yeah, this is the exact difference between both of us. This is something that I could never do. You know?
And I love it. I'm like automatically drawn to that Vipassana where I'm sitting for 10 hours a day and sitting. I just love
And
it.
for me, it couldn't be more nightmarish. You know, I could do so many other things in those 10 days.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I wanted to add that.
Beautiful. Through our combined meditation, we will, first thing that we do is we completely align polarities. So it's going to be equally accepted by both men and women. And,
so Lisa, you want the moon experience?
Yes.
Well, okay, let's go for the moon. I'll be short. So when I got the triggering information about the moon and its origin and its nature and its reason to be there, it gave some elements that I couldn't really wrap my mind around. Why is the moon? How can something happen to be in such a perfect shape to match the sun? I mean, like
measure the size of the sun.
The size of the sun looking from the earth, like exactly there, not closer, not more far, but exactly covering the sun.
And actually shifting to 13 what used to be 12. So it has like 13 full moons in a year, and there are 12 actual months counting by the sun. So very suspicious, precise behavior.
Yeah, so very precise behavior, and also that we only see always that one side of the moon, and we never see the dark side.
Oh yeah, that too.
So
I mean, what is that precision of orbit?
Oh yeah. So it looks like for it to be random, it's really strange. And then, so I was told, and I started looking and checking information in that range, and the person who gave me the full explanation actually was very authentic and very true and very knowing on what she's talking about. And it shattered my mind and my beliefs, and I started looking at it, and it is really just a reflector of the sun. At different degrees, it's just reflecting the sun. And then I started connecting, but really with this point of taking away all I knew about moon and the feminine and this and that. From that point, I started to feel, do I feel any life from the moon? Do I feel it like a live being? And I understood that what I perceived before as a, feminine or something. By the way, in Latvian, moon is a man. So I have grown up my whole life with the moon being a personification of a masculine energy, just to add to that. And then, okay, feminine. So if it's like that, so I was actually feeling that overlay of the idea, but if I connect to the actual thing in the sky, I don't feel anything. I don't feel that it's benevolent. I don't feel that it's powerful. I don't feel even that it's alive. Yeah. And then I connected to the idea of what I've been told that I should feel about the moon. And then I feel the collective egregore, the collective idea of what moon is. Yeah. But when I connect back to the thing in the sky, to the round thing hanging above our heads, I don't feel anything alive. So then I said, okay, so if my femininity and cycles and everything is matched to the collective idea about the moon, and it's causing these, sways and moods and pains and everything. So what if I just, say, okay, that's not my truth anymore. And I consciously detached myself from anything moon, just rewired myself to the sun, because sun is life, sun is real, sun is, there, warm, undeniably indispensable for life, warm, and there are no kind of troubles around the sun, where actually the moon is lunatic, and how David said, wolves barking at the moon and all that.
Not to mention black magic and all the rituals and all that stuff.
And really, like black magic has taken it way to the left side, yeah. And the moment that I really detached from the moon and plugged in the sun, the cycle comes, I feel nothing. No mood swings, no pains, no
moon swings,
no moons, nothing. Pure, beautiful flow. Well, probably I still feel the hormones, but I don't feel this overlay of drama around it, that getting in and getting out and then everything in between. So I thought, okay, maybe coincidence, 1 time, 2 times. Well, 1 year later, I can tell you no moon swings at all since that moment that I rewired myself to the sun, because I understood that the collective understanding about the moon and femininity has taken us a little bit too far into the dark side of the moon, where actually the sun is life. You know, why wouldn't women be wired to the sun, which gives life? Why would we wired to something lunatic and ever changing? So how is that creating life? So I made it my authentic experience, and I made it my personal experimentation, and it really worked. And things have been very, very different, even from the point that I'm not, by the disconnection, I'm not influenced by everybody else's collective turmoils around the full moons. I don't notice them anymore. Before, I couldn't sleep in a full moon. For 3 days I was awake in the middle of the night and kind of tossing and turning. And since I disconnected, I don't feel that anymore, because the collective field has no hold on me anymore around anything moon related. So I accept it as a thing, and still, well, I really can't go full on disclosure, otherwise you'll never see the moon the same. But there are suspicious things going back on the dark side of the moon. So do your little researches, check it for yourself, connect to the moon, feel what you feel, and make your own truth around that. Yeah.
And most important research is what you feel, and who cares what others say. Just connect to what you feel about that object.
Yeah. So voilà, Lisa, that's about the moon.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, thanks for your sharings.
So so that is that, and bear in mind this authenticity. Looking for it is not really the way, but including it as a part of your life, and allowing it more and more space, and opening the doors that allow you to feel yourself more. That is definitely a way to live.
Yeah,
it's a lifestyle.
To look for where is the resonance between your expression and your true authentic values. That's it. That's what we are. We cannot really not do it anymore. That's it.
And engaging fully in whatever you're doing. Engage fully in being here. I mean, such a short time, so let's not waste it in doubts and other things than, you know, creating and being happy. Yeah. So we'll share a couple of things in the Facebook group. Check it out.
And Minds group.
And Minds group. Yeah. As soon as the little meditation piece is ready, we'll put it out. Check it, feel it, and give us a feedback so we can add, adapt, adjust, and see if it can be a way.
Beautiful. And Karin says that she's now starting to connect to the trees and receive their messages, and that works great for her. Yes, of course. Beautiful, beautiful. Trees as well. Imagine that collective intelligence of the trees. It's amazing. So sending you all lots and lots of love.
Let's watch Alice in the Wonderland with
yeah,
my eyes.
Good point, actually. We will watch it maybe tonight again. And actually, what I'll post, I'm just putting the note, the list of our so-called documentaries. So, yeah. The group, name of the group on both places in Facebook and Minds is Wizards and Witches Teas. So, yeah.
Well, thank you. Anna,
yes,
it's
Anna, beautiful to have you as well. Beautiful having you all.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you again.
Bye. Ciao. See you next time.
Sleep well, Lisa.
Ciao, ciao.
Yes.
Name of the
I
group.
don't see you.
Witches and Wizards Tea, Beatrice. I'll also send it. I'll post it once again on my Facebook wall, so you can see it there.
Okay.
Ciao.
Bye bye.
Hey, nice to see you all.
Yeah.
Yeah, Beatrice.
Hey, Miriam.
And Miriam.
Yeah.